What if everything we've been taught about our own history is just wrong? I mean, what if the incredible pyramids, all those ancient myths, and even our own DNA aren't just stories of human progress, but clues to an extraterrestrial origin? Today, we're diving deep into the ancient astronaut theory, the mind-bending idea that our civilization didn't just evolve, it was given a little push by visitors from the stars.
It's really the biggest question there is, isn't it? For centuries, we've turned to religion, to science, trying to piece together the answer. But what if the truth is stranger, and frankly, a lot more exciting than anything we've ever imagined? So here's the core of the theory. It suggests that the gods our ancestors worshipped weren't some divine, spiritual beings. No, they were flesh and blood explorers from another world who came here and completely altered our destiny. And the evidence theorists say has been hiding in plain sight this whole time.
Now, our investigation doesn't start with a crashed saucer or an alien artifact. It starts with something much more grounded. Literally. It starts with a skeleton. A single, very strange skeleton that could totally rewrite the first chapter of human history.
Okay, picture this. It's 1927 in the ancient city of modern-day Iraq. An archaeologist named Leonard Woolley is excavating a royal tomb and finds the remains of a queen, Queen Pu-Abi, from the very first dynasty. But as they examined her, they realized something about her skeleton was, well, it was weird. The reports from that dig described Queen Pu-Abi's skull as being unusually large. Some even said it was kind of cone-shaped. Now, for ancient astronaut theorists, this was a bombshell. They immediately connected it to ancient texts describing the Anunnaki gods, and they put forth a wild idea. What if this queen wasn't 100% human? What if she was an alien-human hybrid?
And that just opens up a fascinating can of worms, doesn't it? Is a 4,500-year-old oddly shaped skull just a random genetic anomaly? Or is it the very first physical clue that tells us this story is much, much bigger than we thought?
So, starting with that one physical clue, the theory just blows wide open. Proponents say, hey, if you start looking through the world's oldest stories, you don't just find one tale of sky gods, you find a global chorus, all singing a suspiciously similar tune.
Just look at this pattern. You've got the Anunnaki in Mesopotamia, the star people of the Anasazi in North America. These cultures were separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, with no contact whatsoever. Yet they all told stories about powerful beings coming down from the heavens. Theorists ask a simple question. Is that really just a massive coincidence? Or is it evidence of a shared global memory of something that actually happened?
And within this theory, there's a kind of pecking order. You've got the Anunnaki. They're seen as the originals, the extraterrestrial god caste who came down from the sky. Then you have the Nephilim, who are mentioned in the Hebrew Bible. They're believed to be the offspring, the result of the Anunnaki interbreeding with early humans, creating this new race of powerful, super knowledgeable hybrids.
All right, so we've looked at ancient bones, and we've sifted through ancient texts. But the next piece of this puzzle takes us somewhere way more personal. It takes us inside our own bodies, into our DNA. The claim here is that the ultimate proof isn't buried in some tomb. It's literally coded into every single cell we have.
And get this isn't just some wild idea from the internet. It was seriously proposed by Francis Crick, the Nobel Prize-winning scientist who helped discover the very structure of DNA. His theory is called directed panspermia, and it basically says that life on Earth didn't start by accident. It was sent here on purpose.
The story Crick laid out is pretty epic, actually. Imagine a super advanced civilization way out there in the galaxy, and they know they're doomed. They can't escape, so they do the next best thing. They pack their entire genetic code into tiny, resilient microorganisms, and they launch them out into the cosmos. It's like a biological message in a bottle, just floating through space, waiting to land on a habitable planet like Earth and kickstart life all over again.
And that brings us to this huge mystery in our own biology. For the longest time, scientists looked at our genome and said, well, 95% of this stuff, it doesn't seem to do anything. It's just junk DNA. But ancient astronaut theorists hear that and their ears perk up. They say, what if it's not junk at all? What if it's a biological hard drive, a storage device just sitting there, maybe holding the ultimate message from our creators?
And really, that's the final claim. The real smoking gun isn't going to be a piece of a spaceship, it's going to be a sequence in our genome.
The evidence, they believe, has been inside of us this whole time, just waiting for our technology to get good enough to finally read the message. Okay, so this all brings the story crashing right into our world today. Because you have to wonder if this theory is true. If they created us, did they just drop us off and fly away forever? Or is it possible they're still around, maybe watching, or maybe even interfering?
Take a look at this number, 700,000. That's how many archaeological artifacts have been stolen or just destroyed in the Middle East since 1990. We're talking about the cradle of civilization, the very place our story started. That's potentially 700,000 clues just gone, erased. And this is where the theory gets a little paranoid, but you have to admit it's a compelling question. Is all that chaos just a coincidence of human conflict? Or could it be a deliberate effort, a cover-up on a global scale, designed to keep us from ever finding the puzzle pieces that prove where we really came from? Theorists also point to things that are much harder to explain away, like the STS-48 incident back in '91. A live NASA camera on the space shuttle filmed these glowing objects moving in ways that just defy physics. They make these sharp, right-angled turns at incredible speeds. Then, you supposedly hear an astronaut on an open channel say they're being tracked, right before the public feed gets mysteriously cut. NASA said it was just ice particles. A lot of people aren't buying it.
And then you have the most direct and honestly the most disturbing claim of modern contact, the alien abduction phenomenon. It really started with the famous case of Betty and Barney Hill in 1961, and since then, thousands of people all over the world have reported eerily similar experiences. You always hear about lost time, encounters with these small, gray beings with huge black eyes, and some kind of medical procedure. And the most shocking claim of all? That this is all part of an ongoing hybridization program, using human DNA to create something new.
So after digging up ancient bones, decoding global myths, looking into our own DNA, and even checking out modern UFO sightings, the ancient astronaut theory really leaves us with one final, massive question. And it's a question that challenges the very foundation of who we think we are.
Seriously, think about it. If they made us, then what does that make us? Are we just part of some grand cosmic experiment? Are we the descendants of a dying alien race? Or are we just one of countless colonies scattered across the galaxy? The theory doesn't give us the final answer. It just poses the question, leaving us all to look up at the night sky and wonder if the truth about who we are isn't in our history books at all, but out there, in the stars.